Hey, it's Megan from Mother Hen's Homestead. I'm popping on today to start a new thing, talk about it Tuesdays. So, today I'm going to talk about tinctures. So I get a lot of questions about tinctures, especially at farmers markets and other pop-ups and things. Like, what is a tincture? So I wanted to chat about it. And so this is a tincture. This one is my PMS support tincture blend. So a lot of people ask questions about what a tincture is. So I figured I'd pop on and show you my routine of how I take my tinctures, and just talk about like remembering to take your tinctures, because that's a thing that we often forget to do, especially when we start to feel good, right? Once they start kind of doing their job, you kind of get a little bit lax about taking them. So I figured I'd come on and talk a little bit about what a tincture is, and what I use and how it benefits me. So anyways, a tincture is probably the highest form of an herbal extract, right? It's probably one of the most potent forms of herbal preparations, right? It gets both water and alcohol soluble properties from a plant. Or mushroom or other thing like lichens and things like that, right? So it gets all of those constituents out and extracted it into a form that's highly concentrated and that you can take easily. So there are two different ways to kind of go about taking a tincture. Most tinctures are alcohol based, right? So it's water and alcohol soluble properties. I make my extracts with vodka, like 100 proof vodka typically, sometimes higher, sometimes lower, depending on the product, but usually it's about 100 proof. So it is very potent, right? So this isn't something that you're gonna want to like take a whole bottle full of, right? That can cause some serious side effects, and it's definitely not suggested. So typically, depending on the herb, it's very herb specific, a dose. But typically it's like a dropper full. So it's exactly that, just one squeeze of a dropper brings you to about that much, which is typically about 15 to 20 drops in a dropper. So I'm just adding a dropper full of my PMS support tincture. This is something that I take every single day to help to balance my hormones, right? So it's not just something that I take while I'm having my period, even though, yes, I do take it then as well, to help with symptoms with my period. But I take it all throughout the month, so it helps to balance and regulate my hormones better, not just during that time of the month. And it works more beneficially when I'm using it at least the week before my period, because it can help to reduce cramps and things like that. So anyways, tinctures. So tinctures you would take probably in between meals. So right now it's about 11 o'clock. I was starting to feel a little bit hungry, so I figured I'd do my tinctures and give them a little while to enter my body before I have lunch. So you can take your tinctures 1 to 3 times a day. Typically I take them in the morning, like late morning, before lunch, then my mid-afternoon slump, when I'm starting to feel super tired, around like 2 or 3 in the afternoon, to kind of give me that perk up again. And then I take them again before bedtime, after like dinner and things like that. So you're gonna want to take it in between meals, because it helps to make it more bioavailable in the body, so you're not like fighting with food in your small intestine to get absorbed, right? So it just helps to increase its ability in the body. So tinctures are my favorite way to take herbal medicine. I do love teas. Teas are basically just a water soluble, like a water extract of an herb, right? It's getting both the heat and water soluble properties out of it. I love tea, but I'm not a big drinker of tea all the time, right? I do like tea, but I'm not going to sip on tea all day long. That's just not how I roll. Typically, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do drink tea, but my preferred way to get my herbs in is through tincture form. So now it is alcohol, and a lot of folks struggle, you know, with either having an allergy to alcohol or like an addiction issue related to alcohol. So tinctures can be hard for some folks that want to avoid alcohol for whatever reason. But there are glycerites that are available, and a glycerin. Glycerin is basically just an oil-based alcohol. So the liver doesn't recognize it as a true alcohol, and you don't feel like you're drunk from a glycerin. So that is an alternative way to get the extracts and the alcohol soluble extracts out of something without having to worry about the alcohol itself. So anyways, let me grab a drink. So yeah, tinctures, probably my favorite thing in the world, medicine-wise. I'm gonna add my focus blend. So I blended this to help support folks with ADHD. I struggle a lot with, you know, staying focused and on task a lot myself. So this is a great blend for that. It has gotu kola, hawthorn, milky oats, ashwagandha, and lemon balm. All very sort of uplifting, mood brightening herbs, but that help to kind of, you know, help with that cognition in the brain and stay focused on the task ahead. I also take a liver support tincture blend every day. I've got issues with my liver. I'm a wood type personality in Chinese medicine. It's all about the liver. I'm all about planning. I have a lot of anger maybe too. So liver supporting herbs, super beneficial for me and my constitutional type and what I need. I've got some liver stagnation issues, so liver support is a daily must for me. I also have a lot of gut health issues from having celiacs my whole life and, you know, not really knowing it for a big chunk of my life. So I struggle with gut issues. So when you have gut issues, it's really important to support your health, your liver health on top of all of it, because when you have a leaky gut and some of those particles end up re-entering the liver several times, it puts a really big burden on your liver. So having liver supportive herbs is a must for me. So these are some things that I take pretty much daily. The focus one I do when I feel like I need it. Today I'm feeling like I need it. I need to focus. So something else that I take daily is marshmallow root. This is just an old jar that I had from Herb Farm. I make my own. In addition, you know, you can buy it from Herb Farm, from any reputable like herbalist, whoever. I make this as well, and it's just me refilled in here. So I am going to add a dropper full of marshmallow. So marshmallow is one of those mucilaginous herbs that maybe you heard me talk about in my gut health bone broth video. But it helps to coat the digestive tract. It helps to add moisture to the lungs, the skin, the intestinal tract. Probably a better form to take this in would be tea, actually, but actually you'd steep it in cool water to extract the most mucilaginous properties out of it. That would be my go-to way to do that, but I do add it into my tinctures even though it's not as beneficial as its tea, because you're still going to get some of the benefits out of it, right? So another thing that I take every day is blue vervain. Blue vervain helps woody types like myself that like to plan and control and have anger types of issues, help to settle down, helps relieve neck tension, muscular tension, headaches, depression, that drive to go, helps to kind of chill me out. So I do a dropper full of that every day. I also do St. John's wort every day as well, especially this time of the year. I really need it, you know. Helps with seasonal depression in general. Depression, mild to moderate depression, can help with that, along with the lemon balm, which was in my focus blend. Those are two great things to have this time of the year when seasonal depression's kind of kicking in. So those are things that I take every single day. Another thing that I take every day, this is another old Herb Farm bottle that I had that I refill with my own, but this is Meadow Sweet. So Meadow Sweet is one of the salicylic acid containing plants, and it helps with inflammation, pain, things like that, but it has an affinity for the gut. So a lot of pain relievers really have negative effects on gut and gut health, but Meadow Sweet helps to relieve pain, but also helps to heal the gut. It's a great thing for people who suffer from H. pylori infections, and have ulcers, things like that. Heartburn can help with that. So folks that have a lot of heat in their body and that express it in the gut with indigestion, heartburn, ulcers, things like that. Meadow Sweet's an amazing herb for, but it's also really good for pain and inflammation in general as well. So I take a dropper full of that a day. I'm just adding it to a glass, and then I'm going to add water to it. So another one that I do every day since I've made it, and I've been waiting to have this made for a few months now, is the lymph support tincture blend that I created. So along with liver support, when you have gut health issues, it's really important to support your lymphatic system. So what ends up happening is that when we have lots of toxins that are building up in the body that the liver can't really dispose of because it's so overburdened, then you end up overburdening the lymphatic system. So getting lymph support in as well is really helpful and beneficial. And it's also really beneficial for folks like myself that get fluid retention in their ankles and things like that. That's usually an indicator that you have some stagnation going on in your lymphatic system. And then another thing that I add daily to every one of my tincture concoctions that I create is ginger. So I have a lot of heat, so I have to be careful with the amount of ginger that I consume. It gives me heartburn and stuff like that. But ginger acts as a great synergist or catalyst in your tinctures. It helps to kind of move that energy outward more. So it's great for folks like myself that have lots of internal heat that ends up escaping up and out, right? And then my extremities are cold a lot of the time, so I have circulation issues because of that. So ginger is a great one to add to your tincture blends to help with that circulation and getting those herbs out and circulating in the body too. So that's a great thing to add. I added a little bit more. I tend to add a little bit more ginger this time of the year when it's cooler and I could use a little bit more heat in my body. I get cold a lot. But in the summertime when I'm overheated, I go easier on the ginger, only about 5 drops in mine. It's all depending on your particular constitutional type and things like that. So some things I'm going to add that I don't always add today are elderberry. So many people are sick right now. My daughter was sick last week. Just sickness galore, COVID's like running rampant and stuff like that. So I added about 1.5 bulb squeezes of my elderberry tincture in there. Just to boost my immune system. When you suffer from gut health issues, your immune system tends to not be so great. So anything that I can help boost my immune system is great. So elderberry is a must. Another one in the same vein of gut health and immunity is reishi. Reishi's full of polysaccharides that help to boost our immune system and gut health as well. But it has so many other benefits that I'm sure if you took a deep dive into, you'd really realize that reishi's awesome. So this is one that I add typically regularly into my tincture blend too. I don't know why I have it over here as something extra. That's usually a go-to in my tincture blends. Today I'm adding a little bit of skullcap. Skullcap isn't typically one that I'm always adding. I add it when I'm like really tense and have a lot of anxiety going on. That tends to happen this time of the year for whatever reason. It's like Vata time of the year. People get more anxious for whatever reason. So skullcap also helps to sort of calm down that psychic energy as well. So this is a great one for people that have a lot of, like maybe empathic or psychic abilities to help kind of calm that outside stuff. So this is pretty much what I'm going to take today. I'm just going to add a little bit of water, like so it fills it up below, about that much. And then I'm just going to chug it back. I missed a little bit. So yeah, easy. So alternatively, some herbalists suggest to like take a dropper dose underneath your tongue, which I mean with elderberry, yeah, that might be nice tasting, right? But I also use a lot of homeopathic remedies, and those you dissolve underneath your tongue. So if you're constantly putting like high proof alcohols underneath your tongue for a long period of time, it can harden it and not make it very sensitive anymore. And so the ability for it to uptake the medicine there is lessened over time. Plus, it's a little bit much. Some of these herbs can taste quite gnarly, I'm going to be honest with you. So especially that blue vervain, it's a pretty bitter and pungent herb. So I think just adding a little bit of water and chugging it down is the best way to go about it. When I first started taking my herbs, religiously and for health benefits, was years ago, and I would always have like a chaser of juice to like chug it down afterwards because the taste like was bitter. We're so not used to bitter tasting herbs in our culture at all anymore, but they're really beneficial for the gut and getting gastric juices flowing, but it also helps to relieve so many other things. But anyways, we're not used to it or accustomed to it. So if that's something that you need in order to take your herbs, then do it, right? Or, like have some quick little bite to eat, right, to get that flavor out of your mouth. That's totally fine. But typically you're going to want to wait about 15 to 20 minutes at least before eating a meal afterwards, just so that gives your body time to get it gone through out to the small intestine where things are more, absorbed into the body. So anyways, that's just a little bit about tinctures. I thought I'd jump on to chat and remind you all maybe to take your tinctures. I know I need that reminder when I'm starting to feel good, like I will actually put reminders on my phone, like take your tinctures because, it's so beneficial, not just in the moment, but long term. A lot of these herbs, like in my PMS support, the chase tree berry, it needs to build up in your body over a long period of time for you to feel the full effects of it. So when you're forgetting to take your tinctures, like more days than not, right? You're not getting the full benefit out of a lot of these herbs. Some are quite fast acting, but some do need time to build up and do its work in your body. So anyways, it was nice to chat about you. I'm going to try to do these, talk about it Tuesdays, weekly. You know, I'm not gonna like hold myself up to it. If I'm not feeling up to it and don't have the energy, I'm not gonna do it. So it's gonna be a low stress, fun little thing for you all. I'm gonna try to, you know, give you little tidbits about different things. Each week will probably be different, you know, whatever I feel like doing. But if you have any topics you'd like me to talk about, definitely put them in the comments or message me or whatever. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my little talk about tinctures, and maybe you'll start incorporating them into your wellness routine. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.